Good morning. Today is March the 24th of 2012. Again, I'm called Matthew Ewing, and we're here to finish up a three-part series on observations. Observations are what arrive from the act of creating space. When you create space, the goal for a conscious life is not necessarily to fill that space, but more specifically, to find a way to be comfortable with the space you created. What happens is when you do that, you'll find that that has echoes. You're able to then be comfortable with, well, being uncomfortable. You'll find a way to be at home in space. Because the majority of what you are, as we've discussed previously, is empty space. By being comfortable with it outside of yourself and inside of it, you've come into alignment with who you are and found comfort in that. Previous to this, we discussed the two topics of observation, which are the observance of what you need and the observance of that which you communicate you want. Those two topics fuse in the spiritual concept of requirements. See, that's when both what you need and what you want are one, when they meet together. The more that you can fill your life in pursuit of that which you require, the closer you're going to be to your spiritual journey, the path that you're actually here to walk. Social agendas aside, and outside of me telling you what you should do with your life, each one of us is here uniquely to do something. We've decided to come here because we had something to do uniquely that only we could, and we could only do here. Now, I don't believe in communicating the individual purpose of one person's life, but in a general sense, the purpose of all life is to figure out what their purpose is. That seems rather elusive, so we'll break it down into three concepts. The first part of figuring out that purpose is to find your tools, that which you've equipped yourself with. Let's put it in an analogy so we can better understand it. If you woke up and you had no memory of who you are, the best way to find out who you were is to look in the bag that you have with you. If you woke up on an island and you found that you had a backpack, you would go right through that backpack and you would see that you equipped it with very specific things. If you were a survivalist, you might have food, water, some sort of tools like a hatchet, stakes, tent poles. If you were a person who valued information most, you might have learning tools or languages, translation tools, books. If you're a person who valued art, you might have various trinkets, but all of them would sort of help you get a bearing on what uniquely you've equipped yourself with for this journey. The first thing that you've equipped yourself with, and the one that's going to get you the farthest, is courage. You've given yourself the courage to wake up somewhere completely trusting that even though you don't know who you are, that place is going to take care of you, and not only that, look out for your best interest. It's why as children we all have an innate curiosity with the world around us, because we intrinsically know that we're here for a reason, and that the world that we're in knows that reason and is willing to communicate it to us. That's why all of us, each one of us, is born without fears. Those are something that we pick up. But courage is something we've always had. Find your way back to those things that you've always had, and then you'll get back to your initial toolbox. Once you have your tools, then you can look ahead and you can plan. That's the mental concept, the plan. Once I've looked through my backpack and I've realized I have, let's just go with myself uniquely, I have a mind that looks for the essence of things and tries to boil them down to the simplest possible communicatable topic. That's something that I've equipped myself with. I've also equipped myself with a unique method of being able to interact with information. Once I found those two tools and found out how fluidly I interact with them, then I could lay down a plan based on what I have at my disposal, not what I need to possess. I'm going to give you a modality here that has worked for me beautifully. A modality is a method of operation, nothing more. This modality I learned from someone else, but when I put it into practice, it became my own. This is what I would like to happen with you as well. It's called reverse planning. See, we tend to think of plans as something that we look at the first step and then we look at the second step. That's massively inefficient. It's way too cerebral. Instead, do this. Figure out first how to ask yourself a question. That's one of the tools you can cultivate. And then ask yourself the question, what is it that I want if I didn't have to worry about money or time or having a job or all of the restrictions of society? If it was just me and the desire for pursuit, what is it that would be at the end? And look at the very, very end of that goal and allow it to take shape on its own. Don't put something there. Say, what is it? And then just be silent. Get out of the way. And what will happen is that which you truly desire most, that which you require, both need and want for the pursuit of your purpose in this lifetime, will take shape. You don't need it to be 100% defined yet, but you do need to understand the essence of that thing, what it really is. So much so that you can name it physically and you could say, I'm pursuing this. Once that thing takes shape, then you start working backwards from there. You say, alright, if this is a very end goal, what would I need to do to be in a position to actually meet that goal when it came? What would I need to do before that to be in the position so I can get into that position? Work that all the way back to your present and say, with the tools that I have right now, what can I do today that is going to put me on the position that is going to lead eventually to me getting to this goal? Work it all the way back to the individual. Now, this is not something that you do in one given moment. I'm not telling you to sit down and write this out. What I'm telling you is to start the process of interacting with yourself in that forum, where you ask yourself a question and then you trust that that question will be answered given enough time. Also develop an attitude of appreciation for the answer that is coming. Once you've done that, once you've cultivated the tool of how to plan, you're going to get closer intrinsically to understanding the essence of who you are. See, all of this is in the pursuit of the spiritual concept, purpose. Purpose is a culmination of the understanding of who you are and what you require. See, there's no greater indicator of who someone is in their constitution than that which they choose to invest their time and attention, conscious attention into. So I'm going to give you a modality that will lead you directly to who you are. I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care where you've come from or where you decide you're going. I guarantee you that if you approach these with an open scrutiny, you will get the results that you're looking for. It's 5 questions. I've never talked to you about these before, but they're the entire substance of my awakening. They're living questions, so they change and grow, and they'll do that for you as well. They're simple. The first one is, who am I? The second one is, why am I here? What do I seek? Why do I seek it? And what am I willing to give to get it? If you can answer those 5 questions for yourself, honestly, then you've gotten the bearing, the substance of everything that you will need to start your journey in this life. And you'll find that as you proceed down that journey, these questions will help you fine-tune, refine where you're stepping. if I only in general knew where I was heading, I would head west. Once I knew specifically where I was heading, I might head northwest or southwest. Or within the 180-degree radius, I might know that I need to go 99, 99.5. These questions are continuous barometers. At first, they're very general, but be able to answer them using your own wisdom. Ask the question and then just be silent. Who am I? Don't generate an answer. Rather, ask yourself and trust that you have the wisdom necessary to answer it. Because you do. Yourself will answer for you. I'm not going to give you my own answers, at least not just yet. Eventually I will. But remember these questions because they have all of the substance of these teachings. All of these interactions are sprung from me getting to the point where I could answer them for myself. If you get to that point too, you no longer have to listen to anyone. You can choose to, though, and gain from it whatever wisdom you want. Who am I? Why am I here? What do I seek? Why do I seek it? And what am I willing to give to get it? This brings us to the totality concept for the evening. The entire purpose of interacting, of learning at all, of seeking information, is to find the key and the lock to the essence of your life. That's why we do everything we do. Every single one of us, we are in pursuit of ourself, not the egoically inflated social self, the oh hey look at me, the there I am. There I am. That moment, that's what we look for. That's what we desperately desire. That which is going to inspire us to come alive. What I'm giving you right now is not what inspired me to come alive, but rather the life itself. What I found when I did. What I found is that on the other side, when I answered those questions, that what I wanted most was a way for other people to not have to mire through darkness and doubt in order to figure it out for themselves. Granted, I'm not one who likes to give people the easy way out. All of this shit requires work. It requires faith and trust. Not in me, but in yourself. In your ability to discern the truth. And also disregard deception and lies. You have to be able to do both. But you have to be able to. This will never work if you're taking my word for it. If you're saying, this person obviously has it figured out, let me just do what they say. Because that is not the thing. I'm you. If I have it figured out, it's because you already do. You've already known this. You need to get to the point as an individual where you realize that. Where you no longer need to hear me communicate it to you for you to say, wait, that might be possible. Instead, you would hear me and say, yeah, I knew that. I'm glad that I'm saying it out loud finally, because I already knew it to be true. When you get to that point, it's because you found resounding truth within yourself. And then when you hear it outside, it rings like a bell. It says, man, that sounds just like me. It sounds like the soul of who I am. Who I am. Why am I here? What do I seek? Why do I seek it? And what am I willing to give to get it? Man, if you answer those questions for yourself, you will realize the entire weight, the entire gravity of existence resides with you. All of the knowledge that has ever been possessed is what made you who you are. So of course you intrinsically are privy to that information. Draw it up. Find your wellspring. Find your way back to the source of who you are, where you truly reside, and then you can move out from there. When you do, you find this life is a game, a joyful game, one that is full of life and experience and abundance. Find that abundance. Find that truth. Find yourself and live. I love you. Goodbye.